Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and I'm back with Spencer from West Coast Varieties, and we are going to be doing some discussion on some older varieties that he's found. So we have everything from something like a Bugs Bunny Franklin Half Dollar, and it's awesome to have these in front of us, to a double die obverse from 1955, but a little different twist on it. Some die gouges. We've got some VAMs on both the Peace and Morgan dollar. We have a 2-cent coin that's double die, so excited to get through some of this stuff. Maybe since it's a 1955 double die penny, but it's a little bit different. First, thanks for joining us, and then we'll probably just get started in terms of asking you like how you found these and if you found them or you bought them from somebody else, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. First of all, glad to be back. Starting off with the 55D. Obviously, the big one is the 55P double die, and that's the king of them pretty much. When I first started doing this, I didn't realize that there were so many just varieties in general, but on the big coins that we always look for, there's the smaller ones that could be out there that a lot of people don't check for. So once I got the Cherrypicker's guide, this is an example where I saw, the 55D can have a double die obverse, how cool. And for this coin, it's really in the date, but the easiest place to see, like you'll see a little bit to the left of the 1 and the 9, but the easiest place to look at is the eye of Lincoln, and you'll see that it's double eyelid. It's a little hard, sometimes you have to get it at a right angle, but this coin I just found in a roll of 55Ds, and out of that roll I think I got 4 or 5 of them.
Wow, that's great. Do you think is that a common experience for you to pull out somewhat major varieties frequently, and then did you grade all of them, or was this one of the nicer ones of the bunch?
So out of the bunch, I think I graded 3 of them, and I kind of just wanted to, I guess, give it a test run first. So I sent off 3 just to see how they would do, and it kind of helps me develop my eye just for grading in general as well. And so I sent these 3 off. This is just one of the 3, but came back. What is it? 65?
Yeah,
65 red. So, which I think is a fair grade for it. And for the variety itself, it's it's pretty overlooked. So it's a good one to check for sure.
Definitely. No, great point. Maybe we'll go. Well, I said we'll do the Bugs Bunny. Then I'm excited for the the 2-cent piece, but this one,
2-cent piece is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I know that there's some really strong contrast on those.
Yeah.
This one is a variety FS401. I believe it's a die clash where planchette wasn't between the dies and the reverse and the obverse come together, and it's commonly known as the Bugs Bunny. I'll zoom in here, but can you give us more info on these? Do you see a lot of Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, so you're exactly right about how they're created. So again, just like with the 55 Lincoln double die, a lot of times people will look for the 55 Bugs Bunny, which is one of those that are so apparent that you really don't need a lens for or a loop. But there are actually tons of different variations of the Bugs Bunny. I think it starts 1948 may actually have one, or 49. And it goes, all the way to 1963, even has different variations, and this is just one of them. I don't personally come across them that often, but this one I just thought was nicer, and I got a pretty decent grade for it.
Yeah, basic question here, because I don't know tons about the Bugs Bunny. It's not all that, die polish. It's just the little hit under the nose, or is it all of the die polish?
Right, it's the hit under the nose, but there's also some die markers that are below the nose and a little bit in front of it, that there's certain markers that will be the telltale sign. So you'll see on a lot of just common Franks that they'll have die polishing marks, but for the actual Bugs Bunny, like on this one, you're looking for a specific one in front of the nose and right below.
Okay, cool. Well, how Mint State 65, how are Bugs Bunny generally valued? I assume there's some better dates for it. Is this a better date?
Yeah, so this one is a little better date. And for a 65, it could be anywhere between $200 and $250.
Oh, that's a great find. So, congrats on that. Then we'll move to. I actually don't know where on this coin. How should I present this one?
So, just like that, you'll see the doubling on the motto "In God We Trust," and it's, I guess you would call it a Western spread. The easiest place for me on this coin would be looking at the R and the U of trust. And this is just one of those where there's a clear separation in there.
Yeah.
This is just one of those that I knew it would not straight grade, but for the details alone and the rarity of it, this is the only one I've ever found. So I was really excited when I found it. And just, for a coin like that to have that kind of doubling, and it's, to me, pretty dramatic, that it's almost one that I wouldn't mind keeping forever.
Definitely. Now, something like this, the Bugs Bunny or the 55D, there's rolls of those. Mm-hmm. There's probably not the same for these. Do you still know and memorize and look for on every coin you look at, to see if there's a variety like this?
Yeah, so on the earlier type stuff, just because I'm not going through it every day with hundreds at a time every day, I do try and keep my Cherrypicker's guide handy. Mm-hmm. And there are, like for this one, I did know that there was the double die on it, and usually you could find some overdates too, or repunch dates, but I just know that this was a big coin that I've personally wanted to find myself, and, so it just came in a group of other 2-cent pieces, and this one so happened to have the doubling.
Great. We'll move on to the next one. A little bit different again. I'd alluded to it earlier, but a die gouge. 1956 proof 66. This was presumably, did you pull it out of a proof set?
Yeah, this one came straight out of a proof set.
And it's right below sort of like an extra talon you had mentioned?
Yeah, it kind of looks, in my opinion, it kind of looks like maybe an extra
right
talon
there.
Or maybe an extra little pair of feathers, but it's just a die gouge, and that one can definitely be found in proof sets. It's not very uncommon, but maybe out of 100 sets you might find a couple.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's not tons of 56 proof sets floating around there, so good perspective. Do you do a lot, maybe the next two that we'll focus on for everybody, there's I think with the Peace Dollars, what is it, like hit list 40, there's top 50, or maybe it's hit list 40 on the Morgans, there's top 50 hot
Yep,
something.
They have the top 50, they have the hot, hot 50, they have the hit list 40.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different categories.
Yeah. Do you do a lot with the, do you look at every Morgan dollar for VAMs, or is that?
So I used to look at almost every single Morgan dollar that would come in, and it just took some time to realize that not every single one, even though pretty much every Morgan dollar, or sometimes Peace Dollars, but mostly Morgan dollars, will have some sort of VAM on them, or VAM attribution with them, but for the most part it's just deciphering which ones are more interested by other collectors, and it tends to be that the top 100s, the 50s, the hit lists, all that stuff are really the ones that are worth spending the extra time to go through.
And just for the dot, is that little dot to the left
yeah,
of the leaf?
So left to the leaf, that's the extra dot.
Right
some
there.
people will call it an extra berry.
Okay, cool. Any other commentary specifically on how you found these and want to sell them, or?
For the most part, I would always suggest, maybe using VAM World if you're going through some Morgan dollars or Peace Dollars, and, sometimes you'll think you have, VAM 1 or VAM 2 or VAM 2A or 2B, 2BC. There's so many different variations that just to keep VAM World open while you're going through them, you'll find really great breakdowns of the diagnostics.
Awesome. Well, I'll take those two. We have two left here. We have one proof and one, very circulated coin. This proof, a Type 2 double die obverse. I think, is this one in the date? Is that right?
Yeah, this one's in the date, and In God We Trust.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another coin that can be found straight out of proof sets. Funny enough, this actually came from the same set with the reverse die gouge, and I almost wished I would have kept it together as opposed to breaking them out just because of the fact that they were in there together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is that the S? Is that the main place you look for it?
I actually look for it on the 6, on the 5. So in the the right, I guess, lower loop area, there's little, like, I just call them lines because they look like lines to me at some angles, but you'll see like the shelving that occurs within that right side of the loop.
There you go. Yep. Cool. Awesome. And then again, what's your strategy for selling? I think there's probably less buyers of variety material. If you have something nicer, do you try to sell directly to collectors, or is it eBay material or something else?
Depending on what the coin is or what type of variety and what type of grade, if I keep them raw, I try and get a better understanding of how I think they will grade regardless of variety or not. And I'll understand that certain collectors will just prefer a higher grade, whereas others will prefer just the variety alone. So I'll take my time on submitting coins and making sure I'm not just flooding the market or flooding the populations or anything like that.
Makes sense. And then this last one, I'm excited about, 1928S inverted mint mark. The viewers, at this point I released it, I went through a bag of Barbers, and the first inverted mint mark I got from you was the 1909S Barber half dollar, and then I found one on my own, and maybe a repunched
so cool.
one. But that was, all thanks to you. So
I appreciate
I was get excited about inverted mint mark varieties, and I apparently gave one away of these on a Whatnot stream.
You made
recently.
someone very happy.
Yes. And I didn't know that it was inverted mint mark, so shows that they're out there. But
yeah, they're definitely out there. And for this one specifically, this was one of the first ones I found, especially on like a Standing Liberty, which I just like the coin in general. And then to know that there's varieties, and I found that there's an inverted mint mark. This was one of the first ones I found, and even though it's a VG coin, it's just one of those that, for one, I send it in just to verify what I'm looking at is what I think I'm looking at, and it helps me learn later on that I could go through these a lot faster and understand what I'm looking for right away.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us. Any tips in terms of getting started if people are trying to look for this sort of material? Can they maybe go to a show or something and ask to pick through somebody's box, or is that frowned upon, or shops, or what do you think?
Personally, I think it's always okay to go to a shop or go to a show, and if someone's offering coins, you're just as much as you're allowed to take a loop to a holdered coin and make sure it's you're buying the coin, not the grade. It's just as fine to look at someone's coins, and if you find a variety, that's awesome. There's some dealers that will, they'll have bins of raw coins out, at $2 a piece, and you just get to sit down and go through everything you want, and hopefully you find one. But for the most part, I think one, obviously developing your eye, something Chris Tisdale always says too.
Yeah.
Developing your eye and just understanding that not every single variety is going to be the $1 million coin, but if you enjoy it, if you have fun doing it, that's, to me, what matters the most. And if you get a little extra money out of it, that's always cool too.
Totally. Well, thank you for joining us. I think, of the videos we're filming right now, I have one more that I'll release with you, and, reach Spencer on Instagram, and I'll have had links all down below, and the thing in the side of the corner of the video, like right here, right there. But good to see all of you, and yeah, comment down below if you find something after watching this video. Maybe this will inspire you. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites, as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.